So today I'd like to show you how to use Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a great tool to use with your students when you're working on a project or you are looking for another way to deliver a unit of study. Google Classroom is specific to Google Apps for Education Schools, which is which we are part of, and it's a wonderful tool and it's very easy to use. To start, you're going to go to classroom.google.com. And when you get to this screen, it's going to ask you to log in. And the reason why it's asking you to log in is because it only allows educators who have Google Apps for Education in their school or their district. So once you log in, you will be brought to a welcome screen. Now, if you've used Google Classroom before or um, you have been in it for any other training, you'll get this screen that you see here, minus maybe whatever courses I have. They might be different, or you might not have any courses. If you are a new user to Google Classroom, you're going to get a verification screen that's going to verify your email address, and then it's going to ask you if you are joining Google Classroom as a student or a teacher. It's really important that you select the teacher option because it's going to give you complete control over Google Classroom, whereas if you sign up as a student, you're only going to get access to any classrooms you're invited to look at or classrooms that you have the codes for. So once you get here, you can start by adding your classroom or creating your classroom. If you go up to the upper right-hand corner next to your email address or your username, you'll see a plus sign. If you click on that, you get two options. The first is join class. The second is create class. So I mentioned before, if you're a student, you can join classes. This is how your students will get to the class that you have created. You will receive a unique class code, and students will log in and then they will put that class code here and join the class. Because our students do not have access to Gmail, you need to make sure that they are logging in and putting in the code. They would log in with the same username and password that they use to get onto the computers. The only difference is that when they put in their lunch number for their username, they're also going to put in at students.pmsd.org. So it is a little bit longer of a username, but that's the only way to get into this. Let's talk about creating a class. So I'm going to click on that plus sign and just go to create class. The first thing that I'm going to be prompted to do is create a class name and a section. So for this, you can set it up so that if you are an ELA teacher and you have 3 sections of ELA students, you can create a class for all 3 of those classes so that you can actually differentiate your instruction as needed as well. So I'm just going to put in a random class, and because I'm in the library, I usually do sections as far as what day and what period they come in. So day 2 period 1. And you can put in whatever you want in that section. You can leave it blank as well, but you do need to give your class a name. Once you're done with that, you'll press create, and it'll create your class for you. Once your class is created, you're going to get to your screen here. Usually a random theme pops up. I do get a random color scheme, but if you want to select your theme, you just go over to the right-hand side, and you can select a theme or upload a photo. And Google has a lot of different themes, a lot of different images, and then they also have a bunch of patterns as well. So you can really pick what you would like your theme to be. You always go for something book related. But once you select your theme, it'll load. You'll see the color scheme sort of changes. You get your class name, and then you have 3 pages. You have your stream, your students, and your about. So I want to talk about the stream first, and then we're going to go over to the student section in a minute. The stream is where you're going to be creating your assignments, your announcements, your questions. You're going to be posting anything that's relevant to coursework. You'll also see that down the left-hand side, you have a few different boxes. The first one here is where any work that is due would be. So this would show you which assignments are due when. There's also a stream. This is going to show you sort of everything that's happening and being posted. And then below that is your class code. Again, this is a unique code to this course. So you're going to give that code to your students so they can join the classroom. Once you create your classroom and you start uploading everything, you can go right to your students page or your stream and use your code. On the students page, you'll see there's a couple of different things that are going on. You have your class code, you have an option to invite students. Again, we don't have email address access, so inviting students through email is not really going to work. But there's also another option here. It's right here in the sort of the middle, and right now it says students can post and comment, and there's a drop down box here. You have three options. Students can post and comment, students can only comment, or only teacher can post or comment. It's really important that you're making sure you are selecting only teacher can post or comment, and the reason why is if you're using this classroom to deliver instruction and have students work through steps of whatever it is, you don't want them posting and commenting on everything. That's going to create a lot of chatter in your stream. It's going to create a lot of distractions as well. And of course, there's always that chance that there's a student who might be tempted to post something that's not really appropriate for a school environment. So selecting that student only teacher can post or comment will really help keep the classroom focused on exactly what you need done. Let's go back to our stream, and I just want to talk to you about creating announcements, assignments, or questions, and adding documents or videos or images or links as well. Down at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see another little plus sign. When you hover over that, you get 4 options. Create announcement, create assignment, create question, and reuse post. So I want to talk about each one really quickly and talk about their features. The first one I want to talk about is the assignment. This is something that you can use to, or announcement, I'm sorry. This is something that you can use to give an announcement on anything, whether it's a welcome to the class, this is what we're going to be learning about, or remember there's a test on Tuesday on this information. It can really be used for anything. I like to use an announcement at the beginning of my class just to give students an idea of what we're doing. I usually lay out what we're going to do, not during one class, but what the overall product of the project will be. So welcome, we'll be doing a short research project on animals. You will be doing these specific things through the process of the project. You can type in whatever you want, and then you can also add or upload a file. You can upload any information from your Google Drive, so anything that you saved on your Google Drive, you can upload. You can also add a video from YouTube, and you can also attach links. So this is another really cool option. So for example, if I go to YouTube and I'm going to be teaching a unit on the Dewey Decimal System, I want to have as my welcome the Dewey Decimal Wrap. So once I click on that, I can add this link up top right to, I can add it right into the YouTube video. It's going to ask me for, you can do the URL or you can search for the video. So I'm just going to do it here instead. And there it is. So I can click on that and add it, and it's added right to there. Same thing for an image from my Google Drive. If I wanted to add an image about, you know, whatever I have, like I have one here of Scottish Terriers, because we're doing a project on animals, I can add that picture as well, and that'll come up for students as well. It's very easy to delete whatever you need. You can choose what courses to post your announcements in. So this is something where you're not going to have to go in if you have 3 classrooms and you need to put in an announcement that the test has been postponed because of something. You don't have to go into each class and repost it in each class. You can actually select all 3 classes or all the 2 classes that you need to put it in. This also saves automatically as you're typing in, so there's no need to click any type of save button. When you're done typing, you have 3 options. You can just click post, or if you want to click that arrow, you get schedule or save draft. So you can save this and work on it later if you run out of time, you know, when you're preparing this, you can also schedule it to post at a certain time. So say it's a reminder, hey guys, there's a test on Tuesday, make sure you're using your study guide. That can be used as well. But once you're done, say I'm just going to post it, it's going to come right up as your first option. So you can also add class comments as needed. You can have other options. You can edit, you can delete it, you can move it to the top. So what I like to do is, as I'm putting in information, and I'll show you one of my other courses, I do all my posts beforehand, and then I reorder them so they see it from first to last thing that needs to be done. So you can really play with how you're doing that as well. After this, you can go back and we're going to talk about creating an assignment. So that's that second option there. With create assignment, you can do quite a few different things. You can give it a title. You can put down your instructions. So if you want students to do something specific, like you need to research the Dewey Decimal System, pick a 100 section, and then name 3 titles, you can write all of that in. And then you can give it a due date, or you can get rid of the due date. If you want to be really specific and give it a time as well, you can do that. But once you do that, it's all done. The other cool thing about this is that you can attach from your Google Drive a document that will be what students use to put in their information and then send it back to you. So you can do that by going right to attach Google Drive item, and in your information you can look through and take something. So I'm just going to use one of my assignments from another classroom that I set up, and you're going to add that, and it comes up and you get this option. You can choose, students can view the file, they can edit it, or make a copy for each student. So if this is something that your students are going to be typing in and they are going to be submitting it back to you for review, I choose make a copy for each student. This means every single student accessing their Google Classroom will have their very own copy of this document, and when they go to edit it, it will save in their Google Drive, and then it will be sent back to you. So you will get a copy for every student instead of just sending out a copy that they can view and then they have to create a copy of it and then redo it that way. It makes it a little bit easier. You can also, again, attach videos or links. You can choose where you post it. You can choose to delete it. You can choose to assign it, schedule it, or save it as a draft. Once you hit assign, it'll go in, and you will be able to pull this up and see what it looks like. Now, this is a Google Doc. Again, we're going to be talking about these and what they entail in the next video. So once that's done, again, like I said, I like to reorder these. So this will then be moved down by clicking on the welcome one and moving that to the top. The assignments are fairly easy to use. I'm also going to show you from the student side what happens as far as reviewing and grading and all of that. The last two I want to talk about is creating a question. So creating a question, these can be short assessments. They can be questions relating to something specific as well. You can add in your question. You can give instructions if needed. You can give it a due date, and then you can choose what type of answer, whether it's a short answer or a multiple choice. Short answer means it's, a sentence or too long. Multiple choice, you can give different options. You can add whatever you want. Students, you can also choose if students can see, or for the multiple choice, I'm sorry, you can put if they can see the class summary, like what everybody has answered. If that's something where you're just looking to see what's happened informally, what everybody sort of knows, you can keep that so they can sort of compare and see what other kids were answering. If not, you can select that off as well. Under short answer, you can choose if you want students to reply to each other or not, and then you can also choose if you want students to edit the answer or not. I always select both of those as off because I want my students' answers to come in so I can look at them. And then give it a grade, and be done. So once you're done, again, you can schedule or save draft, put it under ask, that comes up. So then again, I like to move everything back up to the top, but that answer comes up, and then you'll see in your assignments, it'll give you your due date, and then it'll also show you who's done and who's not done. So obviously there are no students in this class, but it'll show you, if I had students, who finished the assignment and who did not. And then you can click on that and it'll sort of tell you who's done what for your student work. We'll talk about that in a moment. So the last one I wanted to show you is reuse posts. So whatever you've posted in any of your classrooms, you can select to post in a new classroom. So if you go to, say, my All Things Google class here and I select that, I can see all of the assignments and posts that I've had here and click on whatever I've used and then reuse it in this class. So it gives me, this is a question students have to pick one of these animals and then write down their answer here. Okay, again, I select, give it a due date, and then I can post that as well. So there's a lot of great resources here. Now, students we talked about, when you have them join, they'll all show up here. You also have an About section. This can be a place where you put in your title of your classroom, a description, you can put in a room number, you can assign a Google Drive folder. So this is where all the students' work will save on their Google Drives. So it'll set up that folder automatically for those students. And then there's also a calendar. So you can view this in your classroom. Just gonna come up here. And you can see what needs to be done, what's due on what day. And then you can also open it in your Google Calendar and it'll save in that calendar as well for you. So that's another option for students. And this is another great resource that you can sort of look through as well. So I don't know what's going on there. Once you're done, you can save and you're done. You can add materials as well under here. If there's something specific that you want students to have access to, you can tell them it's on the About page, you can download it there, you can print it out, or you can watch the video there. I just want to go back to one of my other classes so I can show you this teacher side of this, as far as grading goes and editing and submitting documents back to students. So I wanted to show you here, I had a test account set up for me so that I can sort of show you how all that works. So as you can see, here's my stream for this class. And my stream starts with my welcome. I have my assignments. So I have one student assigned in one student in this class, shows you right here the student. And then if I go to my stream again, you can see if they're done. So here I have one done, nobody that hasn't finished. And you can actually look at their answers and then you can grade them. Now this has been graded, or this is ungraded, so once I know their answer, I can just click return. If you wanted to grade it, you can do that as well, and you can give them a point value for that grade, or for that assignment. If we go down, here's my first assignment. Again, this is set up. I have a link embedded, and I also have their Google Doc for this. So here I have assignment number 1. I have told my students what I want them to do, and then I have also added a Google custom search and an animal facts assignment. So for Google custom search, this is something students can click on. They are searching for an article on their animal based off of a select amount of websites that I have picked to create this custom search. So I know that they're getting reliable information from specific sources. They're not just pulling whatever website they decide to pull off of Google. Once they've done that, they can click open their document, and then this is where they're going to be writing their information. I made it simple. You can make this simple form. And like I said, you can send that copy out to each student. They have this here. They can put in their information, and then they can type in all their answers, and then they can submit it back to you. So if I go here, I have one student that's done. Again, this is my test account. I can look at their assignment. Click on that. I can go through and as I'm reading it, wait a minute to load here, I can edit it if needed by this drop down option here on the right hand side. I can edit it, I can suggest edits, and then I can also put it as view and just look at it that way. So if I needed to make a comment and just say, hey, this is what you should be doing here, I can do that. I can highlight something and make a comment of, can you tell me and then students can use that information as needed, and they can actually go through and resolve it as well um, when they're looking at those suggestions. You can end up sending this back to students as well, and then when you're done, you can grade it. So you can see over here we have our grades. You can choose how many points you can choose ungraded or how many points. So if I wanted to make this out of 100 points, or if the whole project was going to be graded, the whole process out of 100 points, I can choose to say, okay, well, this is worth 25 points. I can put that in, and then once I update it, I can add a grade. So I can put, 25 out of 25 points, and once I'm done, I just click return. This gets sent back to the student. You can add a comment if you want, and it gets sent back to the student. It's done, and they can move on to whatever they're doing next. Again, here, there's just some other things that I put. There's a file here that is a video on how to use a Google image search. I created a video for that. For some reason it's not downloading. But that video would be something they can use to watch how to do the Google image search. I gave them the link to Google Images, and again, they have another document to post that picture, and then they have their assignment. So you can see here, like, this is not done. If I look up top here, there's no work due at the moment. Again, students, I can see who's here. I cannot message them even though it gives me that option. If I were to go to the student side of this, I'll show you that as well. You can sort of see what the student sees. So I'm just going to log in with my test account here. You'll see again students.pmsd.org. Oxford. And when you log into this, this is what students will see. So they get their classroom environment. You're going to click on this now. They cannot see, they can only join the class. When you click on this, they can look and see what they've done, what's been returned to them. This here, so this has been returned, so they can open it and they can actually look at what was done. Just takes a moment to load. They can see anything that you put in. Okay, if they were going to put it in, they can click resolve, and then it'll go away once they add their information. They can resubmit if they need. A private comments show up, and they also see their grade. So here they'll get their grade as well. So this is a really great way for students to sort of monitor their information. They can access this from home by logging in, so mom and dad can see what they're doing as well. They can see what's been done, if anything's late. It's all here for them. It's a really great experience for the students as well as yourself. If you have any questions on anything I talked about, please make sure you get in touch with me, and I will be glad to explain. Thanks. Bye.